To bin or not to bin? That is the question. And my personal stance on it is it depends on what your definition of organized looks like. What is the purpose of the bin? Why do you feel like you need containment? And really, like, is that in your budget? Is that in your desire? Is that in your vision for organizing in your house? There's so many Pinterest pictures that have everything contained, and your brain instantly feels calm because it can understand and process the space. But in reality, keeping up with all those bins is a very difficult challenge. So if you are willing and able to organize those bins every day, every week, then by all means do the bins. But if you're like, I am so overwhelmed, I don't know what to do, I think the bins are beautiful but I can't afford them, then we can work with other things. There are so many other ways to organize a space, and bins are not one of them. So before I even recommend types of bins, I have to say you need to declutter your space first. And by declutter, I mean remove anything that's unwanted, unused, or doesn't belong. So that means that if you have things in your bathroom that should not be in your bathroom, that's decluttering your bathroom. You're not getting rid of those things. You're just moving the item that doesn't belong. So first, you have to declutter your space. And then once that's decluttered, then you can decide if a bin is necessary for your home, your space, or if it's not, because it might not be. To me, a bin is a tool. It is not the end all be all. And I really want to emphasize it is not the end all be all ever. So don't freak out if you're like, but I love the bins. They look so pretty, but I can't afford them. They're a tool. They are not the end result. You might enjoy looking at bins, but they might not be practical for your home. I have a story. When I was doing in-home organizing, I had a client who loved the bins. She wanted everything in bins in her pantry. Bins, canisters, all of that. Nothing was to be in boxes. Well, here's the thing. She had 3 kids, her husband. She had an au pair in her house too that was also helping her because both her and her husband had very busy jobs, and nobody was putting things in bins. So what happened was the bins were empty and there were boxes in front of the bins, and she was just so devastated that we invested so much in these bins and nobody was following through with putting things away. So her pantry never stayed organized. And she was like, what do I do? Like, I don't know what to do. So for them, that situation was just not a bin situation. While she loved the look and for her that was organized, it didn't work and it wasn't functional for her home. So there are some things that we did. We kind of like changed around canisters, we labeled everything, and it worked really well for her in that way. But we didn't need the bin because her family was able to keep things tidy based on the shelves within the pantry instead of putting things into a bin. So there are ways that we can like create storage and containment without sticking things in a bin. Look at grocery stores. They don't put things in bins and it is organized. Remind yourself of that in your home as well. So some things to think about when it comes to bins. I want you to ask yourself, how is this organizing tool going to help me? Sometimes it does. Let's say you have a disorganized utensil drawer and all of your cooking utensils like the spatulas and the garlic presses and all of those things are all over the place. Well, an organizing tool you might want to use is a drawer divider, and that divider could help keep your spatulas separate from, like the presses, like the lemon press and the garlic press. And that would be a useful tool in your drawer. But if it's not going to be useful, then it's not worth the investment. So ask yourself these questions as to what is the purpose, and really like dive deep into like why you want the bins, the canisters, the organizers after you declutter, and it will give you a better picture of what it is that you want with your home and how these organizing tools like bins and other storage containers are going to benefit you. Also, don't miss the opportunity to mix and match bins because it creates this really unique look that you're not going to find online. It's not going to look like everyone else's pantry or closet or whatever. You mixing and matching baskets and bins, it's going to create something that represents you, and you're more likely to keep up with it because it is unique and individual. Now, one thing I do have to say, not all bins are created equal. Sometimes bins are not going to be useful, even though they're cheap, they're on sale, or they look pretty. So also keep that in mind too. When looking for bins, make sure you find things that will hold all of your items and not just a lot of them. Let me give you an example. I had a client, she loved finding dollar spot bins. She found these really cute ones. They were adorable, but they really didn't hold much. So she was hoping that she could use them in different areas of her home. What we found was we couldn't stick a lot of things things in them. So she wanted to use them for her kids' gloves, hats, mittens. They didn't fit in one bin. So she was like, well, I'll give each kid 2 bins. And then that didn't work because all the hats, mittens, and gloves, scarves, all the winter gear really should have been in 1 bin per kid. So that situation didn't work. Then we tried those tiny bins in her laundry room to hold different laundry items like the garment bags and the pins and the dryer balls. Well, again, not all those things fit in 1 bin, so it didn't work for her. So instead of, finding bins that would hold all of the items for that one particular category, let's say for hats, mittens, gloves, all those things in 1 category for 1 bin, we had multiple bins for 1 kid, and that was really difficult for the kids to keep up with. In her laundry room, she was losing things because things weren't all together in 1 specific bin. So when you're looking for bins or baskets or anything, make sure to measure what you actually want to store in them before you purchase them. Okay, so your action item is to really ask yourself, do I need this organizing tool, or is there another way that I can create order without having another thing that I need to get? If you're struggling, like, I don't know how to organize this, I don't know how to sort this, go walk through a department store or a Target or Walmart or any of those stores, even like a local, like a CVS or Walgreens. All of them are organized in a way that makes sense and they don't have a lot of containment. So you can get some really great ideas by looking and browsing through the aisle.